Welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna make a tier list about all the mythic versions of all units. I will try to make like a tier list that is not only based on Challenge Rift, but also based on Infinite. Like overall, which unit is worth getting or ascending the most in this game. So, Zoro. Zoro as a mythic has some really nice damage. His only downside is his costs, but he does some really good damage. Sneaky takes way too much money to get like really useful. So he's sadly only on C tier. Then we have Harry Potter. Harry Potter has a problem that's kind of like same with Sneaky. He is a long time a single target unit until he finally gets his either Fireball or Leviosa, but yeah, both aren't very great when it comes to money and damage. But I mean, all units are good, don't take me wrong, all units are really strong in their own way, but some just are a little bit better because they're cheap, and I mean they will do less damage because they're cheaper, but they will like handle early waves. So for Sanji, like he has a damage and a support path. Damage path is okay, but he has the same problem like these two, but he is better because he has also his buff and money generation path, yeah. So I put him A tier. Then we have Shinobu. Welcome to S tier, because you break shields, you have decent damage. There's nothing wrong with you. So then we have Naruto. He starts with a decent AoE, so he's right from get-go better than these two, but he has some expensive upgrades, so I can't put him in A tier, but he's still a decent B tier. Eren has some good bottom path stats and also amazing for Infinite his top path stat. He's just lacking range, that's why he's low A tier. Rangu, in my opinion, is underrated. Not many people share my opinion with that, but his crit rate is combined with his dot and his cheap cost. He's really good. People really underestimate him. So then Byakuya. Byakuya has some cheap placement cost, like slightly better AoE than Naruto, so he's on placement better, like a really good placement unit. The problem is, why he is A tier, is he takes some money to either get his... I mean, it's kind of cheap to get his bleeding path, which would be good for Challenge Rift and overall short mode game modes. But his top path is mainly just good for longer game modes, or if you have like a really good money setup and stuff like that, or have like a cost decrease stuff on him. So yeah. He's in the middle of A tier. He's still pretty good, especially as a placement unit. So then we have Nami. Nami with the changes, she has some good damage output for not a lot of cost, but she's not a good money generator. She's mainly good because of her buff. And honestly, let me take you over here, so we don't have everything in A tier, because as I said, every unit has downsides and good parts about themselves. So theoretically you could just say we have only 3 tiers, but yeah. So Dio is, if you get CEO on him, you basically have to jackpot, honestly. But since he has really high cost, but like not really high, but it's higher than most other units, but he has like a insane range on the one path, and on the other path he has also some insane damage plus a time stop. But yeah, his cost kind of nerfs him in this way. Like he's too weak for Infinite, he's not cheap enough for short modes, so yeah. Then we have Jotaro. Jotaro is really good. His only downside is his range. He is cheap, he has crit like Zoro, so I would even say both are on around the same level. So then we have Goku. Goku, his main problem is he starts off with single target. Single target is always kind of downside because it nerfs the unit a lot. But he has some really fast achievable line and line AoEs, which I'd say are better than these three, but since he takes way more money to have like line AoE or any AoE, he's high B tier. Then we have Sakura. Sakura, you're gonna ask why you're gonna put her in S tier. The reason is she is very cheap, doesn't have like, her DPS is probably the lowest from all of them, but her cheap cost makes her amazing for Challenge Rift for the first few waves, especially if you're at a high floor in Challenge Rift where you have basically no money at all. So I'd say high S tier. And also she has a buff road path where she also is useful in Infinite, for example. So she basically has no downside to evolve right now. So then we have Steve. Steve, like, he's a single target all the time, but the good part about him, you can just set him on strongest, so he can take care of bosses, and the golems like take care of the weaker enemies that are getting through. Also his top path, which is Herobrine, is amazing. Like, I will talk about it when I showcase him in probably tomorrow or later today. But he is amazing. People underestimate him. I mean, people love him because he's Minecraft Steve, but people underestimate his power. So I would put him, it's hard, either above or behind Byakuya, but I would actually say above him, yeah. So we have Ichigo. He would be amazing if you get range traits on him. If you have range traits on him, his top path slaps. His bottom path is OP, but the problem with his bottom path, it's expensive, so it's not really good for short modes. But it's yeah, I don't know really. I didn't have tested it a lot, but maybe he's like one of the best infinite units for nuking bosses. But I'm also could be wrong. So yeah, as I said, I haven't tested that much, but I'd say even lower than Goku because he needs money to be able to to take care of a lot of enemies. So yeah, Bulma on Mythic is right, I would say above Sanji, because she does generate a good amount of money, especially have the CEO head artifact. So yeah, but I mean, after a rework I would even put her on S tier, but right now she's just A tier on Mythic. So Whitebeard, the problem with Whitebeard is he has like same issue like Dio. He costs a lot, but not like insane amount. And his damage DPS is also not the highest. Like he's like in the middle. So I'd say I mean, I would say high B tier, to be honest. Like, think about it. It's about Infinite and Challenge Rift, so overall usage. So he is not the greatest, but he's also not the worst in this way. Then we have Madara. Madara starts with a good line AoE, is cheap, you can place him instantly. That makes him S tier in my opinion. His bottom path is really good for Infinite now, and his top path is really good for Story because you can make him full AoE pretty cheap and you have summons. Then we have Luke Skywalker. Luke, I'd say high A tier. He's the cheapest unit. He has... Oh, never mind. He has the lowest DPS of all of the mythics, but he's also the cheapest unit. So I would even say he's at the same level as Sakura, to be honest. Just because of Challenge Rift. Nah, never mind. I would rather say he's A tier because he doesn't have a buff like Sakura. Like, he has only 2 attack paths, which makes him not as great as Sakura, but still a really good unit. Because of that, I would say he's around the level of Steve and Byakuya when it comes, and Zoro and Joto, but not S tier. So then we have Darth Vader. Darth Vader has also the same issue as Dio and Whitebeard. He takes a while to get like here his line AoE or his full AoE stun. But I had to actually say because of his, like, he has a similar thing like the Ghast, but it's cheaper, but it's also a bit weaker. So I would say he is, it's hard. It's difficult to like, yeah, I'd say A tier still. Low A tier, but still A tier. So then we have Broly. Broly is amazing for Infinite and is okay, good if you have some cost decrease for his top buff. I would act, and since some artifacts got changed, it takes a while to place him down. So like he is mainly meta for Infinite. So I say he is around high A tier. Then we have Sakura. Sakura was a monster to balance for me. Because she has crit, she has bleed, she has a slow, she has a time stop, she can buff, so, and she has a good damage, like she should have a good damage at her buffing path. So yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's difficulty to say where she belongs. Like she isn't the greatest damage dealer. She isn't the greatest buffer. She's like all at once. Like Infinite, she's gonna be meta, so we have around like the same thing as Broly. And since she is a buffer, I would even say she's a little bit above Broly, but not a lot. So yeah, so that is my personal tier list. And like, of course, tier lists are opinions. So, but this is in my opinion. You should focus on getting definitely Shinobu and Sakura probably to Mythic at the moment. Maybe. But only if you want to like these two are mainly focused on Challenge Rift. But the point is they are also buffers, so because of the point that they are buffers, they are S tier. It's not, I don't want to put Sakura here because of a meme, it's just her kit makes her good. That's the point. Like even if we would nerf her damage path even more, she still would be high A tier because just of the full AoE buff. So yeah. So yeah, that's my tier list. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.